Hello everyone. Today we're gonna build a watch strap for a very special watch. It is made by Island Watch. This watch company is located in Long Island, New York, very close to where I live. And especially this specific model, it has it's a special meaning to me. So let's take a look at this. It's pretty nice. This is the model ISL-47. And this is a Flieger or an Aviator watch. Really easy to read, very legible. The watch strap that it came with, it's nothing special. It's just regular Chinese, kind of genuine leather paper backing watch strap. So we're just gonna dress it up a little bit today by adding a quality Italian leather strap, handmade, right here also in New York. So again, let's take a quick look at this watch here. This is beautiful. On this watch in particular, the whole face is loom. So let me just turn off the lights here and I'll show you guys. And this is just with partial lighting here in my studio. Let me get a flashlight, charge it up. That is crazy. And this is not a completely dark room, but as you can see, these are very legible in the dark, easy to read watch, which is needed, when you wear as a pilot's watch. It's an automatic movement, which I prefer. And yeah, and let me turn lights back on. Yeah, it's beautiful. Brush stainless finish on the locks. And a quick detail here: the back of this watch, the case cover, it has the branding and everything, but this, it is a silhouette of a F-14, of a Grumman F-14 Tomcat with the wings for the back. It could be in the park position at the carry, or it could be doing a super cruise, which in that case will have the wings for the back. But yes, it's really beautiful, and some of you might know I'm a former Northrop Grumman employee. I'm a former engineer, and this has a little special meaning to me, being that it is aviation related, and being that it came from a former company that I used to work for. So yeah, pretty good. So let's hop over to the computer and I'll show you guys what I have. So that's the model of the watch, and they make really good watches here. NH35 movement. All the details are in it. Very very accurate and really really easy to read dial. So what I have here is since the owner of the watch have a larger than normal wrist. He has a 9-inch wrist, I believe. I modeled this according to the lock spacing and his wrist length. So his wrist size. So that's the forward strap, and that's the back strap. It's pretty good. And from here, I transferred to my RDWorks laser software. And as you can see here, there's something very special I'm doing here. That's my Aviator NYC branding. That's my leather maker's mark. But on the forward top side, look at that. That is a clip art of a F-14. Same plane as the one that we find in the back casing. This one with the wings for the back. That one with the wings open. That's gonna look really cool, right, on the strap. So let's hop over to the lace and have this cut. What I have here is a 3-ounce whiskey Buttero leather. Right? It's been treated with Resolene, so it is really well protected. Let's just cut it out. Just do a quick track to make sure that it's not hitting anything, especially those magnets that is holding the leather down, and you just hit run. Start carving this leather. Now we start engraving it first. Then we're gonna punch all the holes and do a final cutout. Alright, so after finished engraving, right now it's going around and punching all the holes, all the stitching holes for the strap. Oh, the smoke. And I'm only running this laser at 10%, 16% power, so it's pretty thin leather. Now it's punching the holes for the forward strap. Alright, so we got that came out pretty good. Let's just head over to the table and do some minor cleanup and get ready for gluing. Alright, after there's some minor cleanup of the laser residue, you know, we can inspect this and see that this is beautiful. I love the whiskey color leather. That logo is sharp. And that's my maker's mark. That came out really good. That F14 with the wings folded out. That's gonna look good. So before we assemble this, I want to talk about the choice of thread that I picked. Again, let's take a look at the watch here. I went with whiskey because it is more of a traditional color. You know, it looks more old-fashioned, more rustic. But it's not gonna be a rustic type of strap. It's gonna be all burnished. It's gonna be a luxury strap. So we're gonna go with that theme. Again, the choice of thread. I was thinking going black, but I was able to source the loom dial has a green tint just because of the fluorescent material behind it. So it's gonna be like a creamy white with a slightly, very subtle green tint. And it took me a while, but I was able to source a polyester thread that is exactly the same color. down to the tint. It has a slight subtle green tint. It's not white because white looks like this. And this looks a little bit more greenish, but under the light, even on the shadows, it looks exactly like the lume color of the dial. So we're gonna use this, and we're gonna make the strap with 5mm spacing on the stitching, just to give it a little bit more of like a contrast, more pronounced stitching, and because you can see the stitching on this, so it's gonna look really nice. So that was a pain to source, but I was able to to purchase it, and it just looks beautiful. I can't believe how well it matches. So let's just go ahead and do some gluing. Set this aside. Let's do some gluing and get this project started. First thing we're gonna do, right now that everything is cleaned up, we're not gonna burnish or anything. We're gonna burnish at the very end because there's gonna be some glue residue that we're gonna clean up when we sand it down. So the glue of choice is Skiving's Leathercraft Cement, really good product. I have a small amount loaded into my dispensing bottle here. So what I like to do first is to just run a thin bead of glue on the outside. I don't want to get it into the stitching holes. Try to avoid it as much as I can. Right, and this is really precise. This type of work, no machine can do. That's why handmade wash straps are so expensive. It's time consuming. But it should outlast the watch. Yeah. Alright, so I run a thin strip of glue like this, right? I don't spread the glue with a spatula because I have the holes pre-punched, and that run into the risk of getting some into the stitching holes. It's gonna be a mess. And also here, right where the tongue of the buckle goes, it's going in between. I have to get it there, right, and here too. So that's what it look like. What I do is I fold this up. Again, this is full leather back and front, so I fold it up and I just match the tip. Be careful not to get glue around. Match the tip. That's my modern angle tip. I just love the way this looks. It adds a modern twist to the strap. So, right, so let's go down. Just go down the sides. Make sure everything is lined up. I have my gluing jig here, and this makes it super accurate, super square. So I have 2 pieces of acrylic, and I just load it onto my acrylic. Make sure there's no excess glue here, everything's clean. Right, make sure everything's center. Right, I just load it into my platform here. I have a couple shims. And just cinch it down. And there you go. Right. Pretty nice. These are 500 pounds toggle clamps, and by having this jig, it ensures that the pressure is distributed evenly. There's no waviness or bumps once this thing finished drying. So let me set this aside and glue the other piece the same way. All right, so the glue on the long strap is pretty much dry. Let's just open this up and see what we got. Came out pretty good. And again, having this jig ensure that everything is clamped evenly. I mean, these are 500 pounds toggle clamps. Putting pressure on a 1/2 inch thick acrylic, which is completely flat, and making a sandwich. So that's one strap. Let's do the other one. On the other strap, what I did is I folded over where the tongue of the buckle goes. And what I do is I just put a thin bit of glue and use 2 needles here because the holes are, you know, pre-punched by the laser. And I just use them as alignment pins. Cinch them down and just hold it in place with a binder clip until this dries. So that's what I did where I was waiting for this strap to dry. So the next step will be to fold this over and mate it like this. So the line is almost invisible, right? And the jump on the thread has plenty of meat. That's a 6.5 millimeter spacing right there. You know, we won't see it once the buckle and everything is and put together, but that jump ensures that this will not come apart. There's a lot of edge distance on both sides of the leather. So let's just throw some glue and fold this over. I have 2 smaller pieces of acrylic, right, that I use for this jig, and that is for this strap specifically, because I don't want this to be fully compressed, because we're gonna have a pin here and a pin here, so it's gonna be compressed just in the middle. So why don't we go ahead and do that? Let's just apply a thin bit of glue all the way on the outside. On the inside, just go zigzag. You know, the glue will spread out, just pretty thin. And right here, I just put a little piece of glue to make sure that everything is anchored, is well anchored. All right, so just set my glue aside. Let's come over here, just fold it over. All right, and we just basically match the holes and match the seam, and we just go down and put pressure while maintaining the 2 edges flush with each other. All right, so I'm just gonna do that. Just take our 2 pieces here of acrylic, and you can see here that this piece is short enough to leave some overhang for the strap, because there's gonna be 2 pins going around. Yep, just like that. That looks good. So we're gonna use 1 clamp this time, because this is a very short strap. I'm just gonna go like this, put my shim in here, and anchor that. Oh, this jig is a blessing. So we'll come back after this dries. All right, so this is pretty much dry. Let me just remove it from the jig. Take a quick look at it. That looks clean. That's perfect. The text is super sharp. No bones or wrinkles. How's my F14 doing? That's a good boy. That's beautiful. And that's not, it's very subtle, you know, because of the color of the leather, but you know it's there. That is beautiful. All right, so what I'm gonna do next is to you know, take these 2 pieces. We're gonna clean up all the edges here, you know, all the laser residue, and then we're gonna burnish it using a Tocono and my burnishing tool, and we're gonna shine it up that's next. All right, so I went ahead and remove all the laser marks with my rotary tool here. I can use sandpaper if I want, but you know, this is quicker and more accurate. So I did that all the way around the edges. The next thing is to take my edge beveler. This is the #1 edge beveler. And the sanding, you know, created a lip, like a burr. And what I like to do is to go around and remove that using my edge beveler. So really gently and slightly remove the excess. All right, let's do some cleanup here. All right, so next thing we're gonna do is to, well, I just finished hitting it up with the Dawson Grit sandpaper. You know, just minor touch-ups. So next thing is to, you know, add some Tacono. That's my burnishing cream. And we're just gonna go around and just add a little bit. Like this, just distribute it. Just running my fingers. And what this does is just seals the fibers and, you know, just polishes the edges. Get on the eyelet over here. A little bit more. Alright, so I'm gonna use my burnishing tool. Just burnish it pretty well. Push down those fibers down. There's my grooves. Just to round the edges. And I have a canvas bag here, or a heavy cotton bag. Just doing some minor cleanup first on the edges, or to remove the excess Tacono. And just buff it. Buff the edges. Takes a lot of work, but you know, this has to be done, you know, to make it look nice. All right, so let's go around and do this too. Get this clean here. All right, look at that. That is a perfectly burnished edge. It is so smooth and so shiny. Looks nice. That's a raw edge. That's a burnished edge. You can see the difference here. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of the edges, and we'll move forward to some stitching. All right, so after finish burnishing all the edges here, we're ready to do some stitching. I'm gonna stitch the long strap first. And what I like to do is to start at the angle cut at the chamfer right here and finish it right at that point without any double stitching. I mean, it's less noticeable, and you know, the strap is strong enough to withstand a single stitch throughout. So plus it's aesthetically more pleasing and more even. So what I like to do is to, again, I'm going to start it at that chamfer right there. So what I'm going to do is to do a quick stitch like this, right, all the way around. Make sure my needles are even and my thread length is even on both sides, right. That's one stitch. That looks nice. Cinch it down and just start with a regular saddle stitch all the way around. It takes like 20 minutes to do one strap, one side of the strap. So like this. So another one here. Nice. All right, so we're coming towards the end of the stitch job here. This is my last couple holes. Let's finish it up over here. Yep, and this is my last hole right here. What I like to do is to just do a single stitch. No double stitching here, just a single stitch. Make sure the tension is done evenly. Make sure this is straight. Switch it down. And let's head over to the table. So what I like to do is to snip the ends. Again, there's no double stitching because this over here is purely cosmetic. You snip the ends over here. A really shallow end point. There's my thread zapper. And then, let me see if I can get a close up here and do this on camera. Snip this a little more. That is nearly invisible. All right, let me do the other side. And let's do the other side on this. Huh? Nearly invisible, just a dot. All right. Look at that. Ooh-wee. That is nice. All right. Next up is hammer down the stitches, make sure everything is even. All right. That's pretty good. This is really, really nice. I'm just gonna go ahead and stitch the other one, and we'll be ready for some final assembly. All right, so I went ahead and finished stitching the other strap. The only difference is adding a double stitch right here at the tongue of the buckle, or a double stitch, and that's because that's a very high stress area. You know, the entire strength of the strap rides on that tongue. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish anchoring That's beautiful. Let's do the other side. That's beautiful. All right, got pretty good. Do a quick light tap with it here. All right, there you have it. So the next thing what I like to do, let me check out that airplane. That's nice. Yep. It's fractions 1 millimeter between the threads and the tip of the wings. That's beautiful. Oh my God. All right. So final assembly, we're gonna make a couple keeps. A couple loops. So when we feed the excess strap, you hold it in place. So what I like to do is to take, some leftover leather, the same leather as this, And let me clean this up a little bit. What we're gonna do is do a quick measure right here of how much we should keep. So what I like to do is to go around, more or less, about 5 millimeters overlap. I just take my awl right here, my scratching awl, and just do a quick mark right there. Should be good. Take my skiving knife and follow that mark. Okay. Just cut a piece like that, right? And so I wrap around and become one of the loops. Now, since this is gonna overlap, right? I don't wanna have something like this. So I'm gonna skive it at a very shallow angle. I mean, very steep angle on both sides. So once they're together, the thickness will be even. So bring a piece of stone right here. First thing I want to do is to do a little bit of skiving. That keeps it nice and thin. Let's do a fit check very quick. That's pretty nice. I made a mark with my nail right there. A little bit of skiving on this side too. So it'll be on the underside. So that's nice. Squirt this up a little. Right. So now when we glue this together now, you'll keep the same thickness throughout. So let's just put some glue on this very quick right here. Just like that, right? Move the excess and let's clamp it down. Right. Set it aside, let it dry. All right, so I went ahead and sanded and burnished the edges of the loop. The next thing will be to, stitch it up. What I like to use is my 5 millimeter pricking iron right here, my 2-prong pricking iron, and just mark it, making sure that I get as much meat as possible, right? Like that. Get as much meat as possible, so when I stitch it, you grab as much leather as it can to make it a really strong loop. So let me just punch the holes pretty quick now that I marked it. One right here. Let's do the other one. So those are my holes. Let me just double stitch it pretty quick. So some stitching here. What I like to do is to come from behind. Through my face stitch like this. This is the boring part, I hate making loops. Come this way. one, and there's another one right there. Right. And I like to anchor the thread inside, so you know it's not visible. You know, that's beautiful right there. Yeah, nice and even. Just go ahead and snip the excess. Zapper, just anchor it in place. That's the loop. The stitches are nice and center. Right. The inside 2 dots. No, that thread is anchored, it's not going anywhere. It is completely fused. It just looks nice. Let's try this on. It's nice. Let's see if it fits. A little tight, not broken in yet, but it slides so smoothly. That's nice. So let me center this like this. Oh yeah. Here we just square them up. That is beautiful. We need to make 2 of them, so let me do another one of these loops, and we throw this strap on the watch and see how it fits. All right, so the loop has been finished. Yeah, they came out pretty nice. Burnished the edges, super strong, double stitched. So let's just go ahead and throw a buckle on this strap. I have a 22mm brushed stainless steel buckle here, brand new. And it goes pretty well with the watch. The side over here is also brushed stainless. Right, that looks pretty good. Just take out the tongue and the pin. So let's just do this pretty quick. Let me just insert. There we go. Tuck into that. Yes, let me get my tool very quick. Be careful not to scratch the leather. There you go, hear the click. Wow, that's nice. Loosen it up a little bit. It will break in eventually, but this is pretty nice. So let's check it out. This is the stock strap, the wrist check. Not too bad. Nice plain black strap. Let me just remove this pretty quick and install the brown one. All right, guys, there you have it. This came out absolutely flawless and beautiful. Look at the F-14. Wow. This is a proper Flieger strap. That's what we had before. So we have after. Again, I love this watch. Let's do a closer from behind. Look how straight the stitching is. The F-14 with the wings folded. My maker's mark. Handmade in New York. Perfectly loops. Overlap. Wings folded. Wings open. Let's do a wrist check. See how it fits. Again, the owner of this watch has a long wrist, so I don't think I can get it all the way around, but I'll try. So Yeah, and here's another thing. I don't like having fixed loops here because you're forced to bend it and buckle, crease the leather here. So I like to have two free loops, right? They're freely moving. I just push it down and just bring the loops to you, right? Again, this is not my watch, so that's nice. That's beautiful. Over there, when you wear it like this, you show us the F16, I mean the F14 with the wingspan right across. It's not touching the stitching. It's about a millimeter off from the stitching, but it just looks so good. Get the thing to focus. There you go. Yeah, it looks so good. Check it out. All right, let me box this up. Take some Instagram pictures. But I'm pretty happy. This is an excellent watch. N35 movement, hacking. The loom is insane on the dial. And now with this strap, that completes the look. That thread with the green tint matches the dial loom with a slight tint. Now it ties it all together. Plus the logo, this logo. It's Long Island, baby. The good old Grumman days. See you guys next time. Peace out.